Our country is really on the cusp of change, and they can't stop it. Now, consider the fact that INEC has distributed 48 million of the 68.8 million PVCs. That represents about 70%, and that's quite an impressive figure. So, I mean, all INEC can do is to make the PVCs available, but it's also voters also have a responsibility to be readily available to pick their PVCs up and be ready to vote on election day.
The figure we have is about 68 million, no, about 45, but that notwithstanding, assuming we've got about 10 million people who can collect their PVCs maybe within this window and they're not able to collect them due to no fault of theirs, can we say that, well, that's negligible, we can go ahead with the elections? And they're not able to collect them due to no fault of theirs. Can we say that, well, that's negligible, we can go ahead with the elections?
Well, the reality is, even if you have everyone pick up their PVCs, it doesn't guarantee voter turnout on election day. But the 70% that have picked up their PVCs right now, it's quite an impressive figure by any standards. And so, you know, and the reality is that even with a low voter turnout, it doesn't invalidate the results of an election.
In other words, you suggest that anyone who thinks that because we've got 65.52% of the PVCs distributed, if they think that that's not enough, then they've got other reasons not to want it to proceed, you think?
Can you repeat your question?
The figure we have from INEC, even though they say by tomorrow they'll give us the latest figure, because this figure says 65.52%. So if we go with this figure, we can proceed, and this figure is good enough, you say?
I totally agree, because, you know, what typically the pattern is you get closer and closer to elections. You're likely to see a spike in the number of people showing up to pick up their PVCs. But let's assume, for the sake of argument, that we had 100% pickup of their PVCs, which is impossible. It doesn't in any way, shape, or form guarantee that 100% of the people with their PVCs will show up on election day. So 70% that we have right now, I think it's pretty good enough. And let me quickly add too that with INEC, you know, telling us that they are ready, we have to take INEC at its word. We at the APC were ready. You know, we have a date with destiny. Voters in Nigeria have a date with destiny, and that's on the 14th and the 28th. And you can see the mass demonstrations that were out there today, people raising their voices, making it very clear their desire to express themselves on election day. I think it's only fair to expect that everything should be done to ensure that voters have a chance to exercise their franchise.
A quick word from Mr. Shomi, who is here with us, about what you've just said. Well, 65.5 to tomorrow, INEC will say, at the moment we've got 70% collection. 70% is pass mark. Lots of people, INEC today says, we are ready. So, shouldn't we proceed?
PDP has never said that the election should be postponed, not as an official position of the party. But it is the typical nature of the APC to assume that once they feel that they're comfortable, others can go and die or jump into the lagoon. It is not correct to plan an election where 30% of the citizens who are eligible to vote may be disenfranchised. That's fact. What's going to happen at the point of voter turnout apathy, when we get to that hurdle, we'll cross it. This is a process. If there's a challenge with one part of the process, it is normal for Nigerians to comment about it. It is normal for people to feel agitated. And it is normal for a sensitive party to figure out and listen to what the people are saying. And if what the people are saying suggests that, oh, we're not going to get our voters card, are we supposed to come on election day and not be able to vote just because you've got your voters card? I think it just makes sense for us to look at it and review it. Also, there is also the thing about taking responsibility. You have just shown on your screen 2 samples of 2 certain different individuals that got 2 voters cards with the same name. Instead of INEC, or those that are around INEC, to first of all assume that it's possible that the fault could come from them, they have, in, of course, characteristic manner, pretended as if, oh, it must have been some devil from outer space that produced that, which is not consistent with how a reasonable organization that has 4 years to plan should behave. For the avoidance of doubt, none of the exit polls that we have done up to date suggest that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our candidate, the great transformer, will not defeat the APC. One of the reasons why we are saying, hey, let everybody that needs to collect his PVC is because this particular candidate of theirs has demonstrated consistently that if the election does not go his way, he'll probably start crying blue mother. Right now, we're screaming, we're saying, if people want to get the voters card, give them an opportunity to collect it. How do we know whether those who have not collected are PDP members or APC members? We don't know that. It's all Nigerians who are eligible, who desire to vote, should have access and should be able to pick up their card. But if at the close date and the final decision is taken that yes, as many of them as possible have collected their voters card, call the elections tomorrow, PDP is ready for that election.
Let me get perspectives about preparations, INEC's preparations for these elections. And I'll start with Mr. Shaya, who is in our studios in Abuja. What do you think about INEC's preparations for these elections? Are you satisfied? Do you think, is your party satisfied with their preparations so far?
Yeah, yes, we have to take INEC, at its word, in terms of its readiness. Now, never mind the talk about a close election. It won't be. Look at the crowds at our rallies and the gale of daily defections. We've got the momentum on our side, and they can't stop it. I listened to your guests talk about. He's become now an advocate for voters to get their PVC. But what has the PDP done? Nothing. We in the APC states had declared public holidays to enable voters, irrespective of party affiliation, to come and pick their PVCs up. And we've made suggestions in terms of the mechanism that would make it easy for voters to come and pick up their PVCs, and they haven't. So who's ready? We are. The issues in this election, the choice in this election has never been clearer, and the stakes have never been higher. It's a choice between the status quo and change. It is a choice between a pattern of deceit versus integrity. It is a choice between sheer incompetence and performance. And this whole idea of leading from behind, which we have seen over the years with this administration, the Nigerians are thirsty for change. And we have a date with destiny, and that's the 14th and the 28th of this month.
Mr. Shomi, you think INEC is ready?
If INEC says it's ready, maybe we'll have to say it's ready. But I don't understand when people use buzzwords to represent that there is character representation or personality to leave out precisely the intention of those buzzwords. Change as a buzzword is good, but what suggests that the characters that are milling around the APC now are change agents? You can look through all their governorship candidates. You can look through the people that are driving their processes in most of the state. What would you find? You will find them to be two-term governors of PDP, former senators of PDP, former Ds of PDP, people who have lost out in the PDP, who up till the second they joined their party were considered not to be progressive. So I kind of like get the impression that there's some kind of indoctrination cult-like arrangement that once you say you're a PDP, you're an APC member, you suddenly begin to represent change. If Patricia Ete, who was a speaker in PDP and probably got impeached for one reason or the other, suddenly is now the change that Nigerians, no. There is, truly, the stakes are very high. But the stakes are high because Nigerians understand that a transformation agenda has commenced and there is evidence that it is doing well. And therefore, the more reason why we should not allow any voter to be left out.
Okay, we have to go. Well, both parties, the APC candidate, the APC representative on the program today, and the PDP representative on the program today say they are both ready, and that's where we'll draw the curtain today. I have to thank you for speaking with us today, Mr. Hubert Shire, a member of the APC who joined us from our studios in Abuja, and Mr. Segun Showunmi, a member of the PDP who is here with us in Lagos, as well as Mr. Kaide Idowu, the Chief Press Secretary to the Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, for all joining us today. Well, don't forget, you could keep your comments and questions coming through to us here, Nigeria 2015 at channelstv.com, and keep tweeting using those hashtag Nigeria 2015 and any of those Twitter handles you see on the screen. We'll be glad to hear and read your comments as well. Show today, don't forget to stay here with us on Channels Television. From everybody here today, Nigeria 2015 Studios, I'm Chamberlain Osor. Good night.